So now what we have to do is go back to the weapon component, and now we want to add some variables for the yaw. So basically what we're doing is we're moving and saving the checkpoint for each angle, both pitch and yaw, independently. So we're gonna do the same thing that we did for pitch, and now we're gonna do this for yaw. And so the first variable that we're gonna create is a boolean, and it's gonna be is recoil yaw recovery active, and then will be update recoil yaw checkpoint in next shot. It's gonna be false, and I think that's it. Now in the start recoil, we also want to start the recoil for the yaw. So in start recoil, where is it? No, sorry. Say in start recoil recovery, we want B is recoil your recovery active. We set this to true, right? And in tick component, we will interpolate the yaw recovery. So tick component, I think. Okay, so it's in tick component over here. So now we can just create a separate interpolation and even a separate interp speed, which you probably want to tweak this on your own to see what value works best for your game. But I'm going to use 10 for the yaw, and this is just going to be interp prod.yaw. This is going to be f math r interp 2, and we're not gonna interpolate this constantly. We're gonna use the normal interpolation. So current control rotation to the recoil checkpoint, delta time, and interp speed. And I think we don't have to do this anymore. Right, so interp dot yaw, this is gonna be dot yaw as well. Now, if we cancel the recoil recovery for the yaw, and we can just do that by using B is recoil yaw recovery active. If it's not active, then we can just override it, right? So interp prod.yaw will just set this to current control rotation.yaw. So it's not going to recovery to the interprod. Instead, it will just keep interpolating to the current control rotation, which shouldn't do anything. Right. And the same thing, we also want to do the same thing here for the small interpolation, but we don't need a separate interpolation because it's small enough we wouldn't notice the discrepancy. So we can just check if B is recoil your recovery active, and here we can just interp rod.yaw, basically the same thing that we have here. All right, and lastly we can just set this recoil to false. And the same thing that we did for the pitch, whenever we want to update, then we set yaw, update recoil. Then we can just set this. So instead of the pitch, now we update the yaw, right? So recoil checkpoint dot pitch, and here we're going to use the yaw value from the current control rotation. And so here we just change this to yaw, and there we have it. Now, the same thing that we did for pitch, go back to look, and the condition for changing this is pretty straightforward. Whenever the look axis vector for the x, or the horizontal mouse movement, is not 0, so whenever it changes, then if it's active, if current weapon B is recoil, your recovery active, then we tell it to stop interpolating, right? So we set this to false, right? And current recovery active. But down here we also want to update it, so whenever we change this, if it's recovering, then we want to cancel the recovery. However, if we are currently shooting, if we're currently firing, we want to update the checkpoint. Current weapon B update recoil your checkpoint in the next shot. So there we go. All right, now we're set. We can try to compile it. Now we will see that when we shoot, it will go straight down because it updated the, or rather it canceled the oh no, I think it updated the yaw checkpoint to the new one. It also goes straight down. And here's also another cool thing. And it's recovery, and we go right, it's still recovering. It's not canceling the downward recovery. The only thing that will cancel the downward recovery is upward. But if we just move downward a little bit, so downward, it's not going to cancel it altogether, right? So that's for the recovery. It looks pretty nice. You might have to, again, you probably want to tweak depending on what kind of game that you want to make. This is a shotgun here, so yeah, you probably want to tweak every value, some interpolation speed or anything else. So yeah, feel free to do so. Now, the next thing that we want to implement is bloom or spread, right? As you can see right now, when I shoot, it's going to shoot pretty accurately. No matter where I'm pointing, the bullet will go to where my reticle is, and that's good, that's fine. But depending on what kind of game that you want to make, we probably want to balance a little bit. We want to add a little bit of randomness, some spread, some bloom into the mix, right? And that's what we want to do. Basically, what we want to do is the longer we shoot the weapon, the more sporadic the bullet is going to be. So it's not going to land perfectly at the center of the screen. Instead, it's going to be like randomly spread here and there. And the more we continuously fire, the more random or the more spread out the bullet will end up in, right? So you'll see what I mean. You'll see exactly what I mean once we get to the code. But yeah, let's do this.